Hey, this is Meredith Elliott Powell, and you know what time it is. Well, maybe it's not exactly the right time. Mark and I did a podcast yesterday morning, got a little bit interrupted, thought we would reshoot this morning. So it is Sunday morning, somewhere around 9 a.m. Eastern, and it's time for, well, sales logic. So, Mark, what is on tap for
Well,
today?
what is on tap is we're going to be talking about how to exit 2023 using what you learned, using the success of it, and turning it into an incredibly successful 2024.
All right, let's rock and roll. Hey, once again, this is Meredith Elliott Powell, and welcome back to Sales Logic. Probably going to have to bear with us today. Lighting doesn't look really good, but before we dive into today's show, I always like to tell you how the show works. We start off with a question from you, the audience. So, hey, if you want to be a part of Sales Logic, just go to saleslogicpodcast.com. Put your question in there, or just reach out to Mark, me. We'll feature you right here on Sales Logic. We cover a hot topic, we recommend a book, and because we want you to leave with return on investment, we leave you with a lightning round. So, Mark, what is on tap for today?
Well, what is on tap is first we need to acknowledge Meredith. We're in Orlando at a National Speakers Association event, and she was just sworn in as the new chairperson for the next 2 years. So, Meredith, congratulations. Going to be great working with you on
Thank
this.
you. And Mark is our newest board member. So you're looking at leadership right here.
I'm just always serving Meredith.
That's
anyway,
right.
Hey, today's topic, we are talking about how to take 2023 and turn it into an incredible 2024. A question comes from Bill in Phoenix, Arizona. He says, hey, I'm having my last sales meeting of the year with my team, and I need your advice. What should we focus on? How can I best prepare them for 2024?
Yeah, so what a great question. And I love the fact that you're really thinking about now what you need to do to prepare them for 2024. And the best way to prepare for 2024 is to reflect on 2023. So I would really start with kind of a dump. What really went well? I use a tool called a seeds, weeds, and needs. What did we do well in 2023? What worked? What grew the business? Our weed, where did we waste our time and energy? What didn't work? And then our need. What do we need to be doing in 2024 that we didn't do in 2023 that could actually take the business to the next level?
I like your strategy of seeds, weeds, and needs because it also has you looking at what didn't work.
Yeah.
And the idea is not to dwell on it, but to learn from it. Because if we don't learn from it, guess what? We're going to wind up repeating it. And there's undoubtedly a lot of past customers that we have not had a chance to really dissect as to what went wrong. Well, guess what? Now is your time. Dissect it. You know what? It starts by probably reaching out to them and asking them.
Yeah. So, the other thing I think that I would do is really, I would start looking now at the deals that did close in 2023 and make sure you have some kind of touch and thank you with those customers, and then set up an appointment for 2024, because if they bought from you in 2023, chances are they're ready to buy from you in 2024.
Well, that's so key, because in that you signed a deal with them, but there's probably more business. So begin to take a look. What's that opportunity index? That's probably one of the easiest ways for you to start nailing your number in 2024 through existing customers.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing is start to look at some of those deals that didn't close. I was just looking at one the other day. I lost the deal, but there's another opportunity in 2024. So I'm building my prospect list based on calls that went really well, but maybe they didn't close, but maybe I could move it over the edge this year.
See, that's so key, because just because you didn't get something, you don't run from it. Oh no, I can never talk to them again. No, embrace them. You spent the time developing a relationship with them, nurture it some more, and turn it into your customer.
Yeah. I would also reflect on the very best calls that you had. Like, it was easy to get through the door with the prospect. You hit the prospect at a time of need. The conversations went great. Price wasn't an issue. And really dissect probably the top 5 closes and try to figure out what you did really well.
And you know what? When you're looking at those closes, and this came up in a conversation I was in, I was with some people yesterday. We were talking about this in terms of what's changed in the marketplace. You talk a lot about this.
Yeah.
How the marketplace changes. And is the message you were doing a year ago still relevant today? Are the outcomes different? What's changed? You've got to get a handle on that so you go into 2024 speaking the right language.
Yeah. Can you give some messages, tips on selling through LinkedIn? What's your experience? You know what? Rudolph, I want to make sure I pronounce that name right. I think that is a great episode for Sales Logic. So I want you to turn right back in 8 a.m. Eastern next week, because that is going to be the question of the week.
I love that. That's great. Yeah. Now, you know what? Let's talk about this, because again, there's so much content that we can share in early 2024. Because again, what did you learn from your customers? What did you learn? And how can you share that with other customers? You know, we become an expert when we say, hey, I've been working with some other customers, similar space as yours, and here's some things I've learned. Boom. It makes you even more of a credible expert.
Yeah. So, Andy, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? And what did we forget to do? So you do forget to do instead of what do we need to? The era of commission versus the era of omission, probably versus the era of commission. I love that. Yeah, really, really smart. Michael, I mean, is there a frequency of reach out that can be overbearing or pushing boundaries too much?
Oh, this is gonna wind me up here on this. As long as you're bringing value, no. If all you're doing is saying buy for me, then yeah, then you are. But if you're delivering value, you have the right to reach out to them. In fact, you owe it to them to reach out to them. So don't think you're, I called them twice in the last month. It's okay. If you got good insights, share it with them.
Yeah, I disagree just a little
Okay.
bit in the sense that, Michael, I'm going to say really take a listen from a customer. Like, you know, if they say to you, it's year end and we're trying to deal with a lot of stuff, even if you have a value add email coming through, like the thing about follow up is do not discount listening to the customer. So, you know, if they're not responding to me, that is saying, I don't have time for you. Now, what I do is I send an email that says, no, you've got a lot on your plate. Please don't worry about following up with me. I'm going to continue to reach out, giving them permission that they don't, that they don't have to respond.
In fact, this is that one window of time right here, the last couple of weeks of the year, that if people's voicemails say they're out of the office, I do not leave a message, because the last thing they want to do is come back to work after being gone for the holidays and their mailbox is full of stuff. Same thing with emails. So, and again, this is the one time a year when I just let them enjoy their time if they're not responding to you. But you know what? It's amazing. There are a lot of people who are working.
Yes.
And guess what? You can have great conversations with them.
Absolutely. We learn the most, John, such a great statement, not when we win, but when we lose. That is so true. It's so key. Like, losing isn't failing. It's learning, like, just where you missed the opportunity. And if you learn from that, you can use what you learn. It is as important to dissect a win as it is to dissect a loss.
I've had some of my greatest successes come out of losses, and I'm sure you have too, right?
Oh my gosh!
You have a loss, and you don't, again, not dwelling on it, but you're saying, "Okay, what did I do wrong?" And then suddenly the light bulb goes off, and you go, "Wow, I just changed this." Boom.
Yeah.
And it happens. Yeah.
So how do you break up and prioritize your pipeline?
Well, I break it up in this, because here, the last few weeks of the year, the last half quarter of the year, I'm into customer service mode. I'm just taking care of customers as rapidly as possible. But when I go into the first quarter, I'm really going into big opportunities. So my pipeline is going to be focused on big opportunities that may take 6 to 9 months to close. I may have to bring in subject matter experts. I may have to bring my boss in. I may have to do those things. But I'm doing that because if I don't start those early in the year, I'm not going to close them this year.
Yeah.
I got to make my number. So that's one way. I also then focus by what's my opportunity index. What I don't try to go, in the opportunity index I talked about earlier, just rewind the audio, go back and listen to it. But the other piece I do not do is I do not spend time focusing on the little bitty kids. Because you know what? I can pick those up anytime. And if I spend time focusing on the little bitty kids and the easy stuff, I'm never going to really start tackling the big stuff for the year.
Yeah. So, John, I'm going to answer your question, and Michael, I'm going to swing back to you a little bit, because I think this might help you a little bit in frequency of follow-up. So I do my pipeline two ways. I split it up two ways. The first way I split it up is that always a third of my pipeline is existing customers, because I want easy wins and I want to continue to deepen those relationships. A third are brand new. And of that third that's brand new, some of them are stretched, kind of like what Mark said. I mean, if I close them this year, I'm lucky. And then a third will be centers of influence or referral opportunities or areas like that. And then I take all of those and I divide them A, B, and C, which goes back to Michael's question of frequency of contact. And A lead is hot. I mean, and I'm going to contact that lead quite a bit because we're getting close to pushing that one over the edge. A B, mediocre. I might contact them once a month. And a C is probably going to go on my quarter. It's at the beginning of the relationship and I got to nurture it along.
Okay, now we just had a little bit of a disagreement there, but I'm going to come back, and I'm not going to throw you under the bus. I would never do that, Chief Mayor. But
I'm okay with that.
It's those easy deals, because I do like those easy deals, but you do it very smartly because you're ruthless with how you allocate your time.
Mm-hmm.
Where I get concerned is people take the easy deals, and that's all they work is the easy deals. Then guess what? They lose all their ability to sell. So you're doing it, but you're breaking it up with those A, B, and C. So I love that.
Well, I just think as a sales professional, you can't lose sight of the customer. Like, when I was coming up through sales, we used to sell a deal and move on. And that's why most customers had one or two products with us and nothing else. And you got to realize in today's marketplace, if I bought a product from you, I trust you. I believe in you. I think you're going to take care of me. So for you not to reach out to me in 2024 is a mistake. The other thing is I like an easy deal because I need motivated, and landing one keeps me motivated to continue to go after the harder ones. So if you're a sales leader out there right now, right now, kind of to the question at hand, look at what's in the pipeline, what closed, what customers could you go out and sell more to?
And that's so key because you got to keep motivated, because I'll tell you what, even in the first quarter, I see people becoming unmotivated. And then they begin to literally shut down for the year. And you have to be absolutely careful on that. So you manage your day, you manage your week, you manage your month and quarter so that you are going to get some successes along the way, because it's amazing. Momentum creates momentum.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Michael, I also do a top 100. And the reason I do a top 100 is those are my 100 people that I am going to call on in 2024. So, I just talked to somebody yesterday here at NSA. They do a top 50. So whatever your number is, I don't know if it's top 25, top 100, maybe you're like a crazy person and you do a top 500. But here's my point with it. The reason I do a top 100 is because those people need to be called on consistently. Probably one of the biggest mistakes I see salespeople make, and I have made it, is you get a prospect, you get excited, you call once or twice, and then you don't call on them anymore. And so there's only going to be so many people that I can call on this year. So I got to be diligent about that. Now,
go.
I was just going to say, I also keep a grid. Like, there are 10 things that a prospect's got to qualify for in order for me to continue to follow up on them. They have to meet at least 7 of that 10 to make it into my pipeline. If not, they're a suspect. We have a great friend, Sam Richter, who talks about the difference between a suspect and a prospect. And a suspect is just somebody I'm calling on that hasn't shown much of an interest at all. So when they meet the 7 of my 10, they go to prospect list.
And this is what's so key. What you're hearing talk about is a process. You have to have a process. At the start of the year, I see so many salespeople, what they do is I'm going to prospect like crazy, and I'm going to throw all this stuff out there. Don't start what you can't finish. Don't start what you can't follow up with. And that's key. Hey, Andy Greenberg, I love it. And I know you've got this line, we don't close deals, but we open relationships.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so key. And that's what Mayor was talking about earlier in terms of you close this deal, but you don't walk on. I think that's the old school of selling.
Yeah.
New school is we take it and we nurture it to the next one.
What I love about what Andy is saying here is everybody really take this as such an important lesson. He's giving the customer permission not to call him back while remaining visible. See, the chances that you are going to interact with a customer at the exact moment they are ready to buy are kind of slim to none. But you have to remain visible in a non-annoying way. And he's done such a beautiful job here of doing that.
Yeah, that's so key, because again, how are you visible? What are you talking about? What are you saying? What are you sharing? And this, again, maybe we'll cover this next week regarding LinkedIn, in terms of what are you putting out there on social media, because you got to keep your presence. Mayor, you have a strong presence out there on a number of different channels. Now, it doesn't divert you from prospecting. It's not your excuse for not prospecting. It's in addition to.
Yeah, absolutely. As a sales leader, do you have your sales team build out their budget using their pipeline and CRM?
Oh, wow. That is so key. I'll tell you what, if you're not using this is, if there's a time of year right now for CRM hygiene, it's right now.
Oh.
I know you always go through that process, right?
Yes.
Where at the end of the year, you kind of purge your CRM.
It needs purge.
And I haven't gotten in that habit, but I think I'm going to this year.
Yeah.
That I'm going to go through and I'm going to clean some of this stuff up. Because again, it allows you to go in. And again, what have you been hearing us talk about? And Bill, you're meeting with your sales team. It's understanding the lessons from this year, understanding the opportunities, making it happen, and then building forward, but with a process, please.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Mark, let's talk about the book and the lightning round, because unfortunately I got to go catch a plane.
That's okay. Blue Ocean Strategy. Have you read the book? It is a great book. And I'll tell you what, and I'm going to encourage you, both Mir and I are voracious readers. Voracious, there's today's word. Yeah. But what is it that you like about Blue Ocean Strategy?
I like about that it is about really laying out your unique strategy and keeping you focused in order to accomplish what you need to accomplish. I've read it 3 times.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. You got me twice on that one. But anyway, you are the overachiever. Anyway, hey, lightning round. Are you ready?
Yes.
Top 10 things we can do to get 24 off to a fast start.
Number 1, book appointments for 2024 right now.
2, make that list, create that opportunity list of existing customers where you can go back and get more business from.
Yeah, create a grid to qualify your prospects.
3, find out who your subject matter experts are and your other people that you're going to bring in to help you with big opportunities.
It's actually number 5, build your pipeline list.
Number 6, never think for a moment that there's not a lesson you can't learn from 23 that you can't roll over to help you in 2024.
Yeah. Number 7, clean your CRM, get it in really good shape and get it set so that you have no question as to who to call on every day and why they're qualified.
Number 8, the sales year does not start on January 15th or January 22nd. It starts on January 1st. Make sure you got appointments that very first week.
Yeah. Set a time at the end of every month, set an hour or 2 to review the prior month to see how you're doing against calling, the behaviors, and landing the deals you need, because your pipeline need to be adjusted.
And number 10, hold yourself accountable. One of the best ways is by joining us here in the Sales Logic Mastermind. Go to saleslogicpodcast.com, scroll down. You're going to see the link to the mastermind. We want you to join us, because this way then you'll get Mir and myself a whole sundry of tools. It's all there because you are going to make this your best year ever, because you're going to be part of the Sales Logic Mastermind. With that, we want to say, hey, thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. If something we've said has earned you a single dollar, hey, consider telling a friend about our show, because it's how we grow when we help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meriidth Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
all of this uncertainty is going to become your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
All right. The smartest thing that you can do for 2024, join the Sales Logic Mastermind. Join us right back here, 8 a.m. Eastern. We are going to be talking LinkedIn next Saturday morning. Have a great week.